This is what it actually takes to cut your fuel bill in half during the most expensive gas crisis in 4 years, and most of it you can start doing today, for free, without buying a new car. A gallon of regular gasoline costs $4.16 right now as a national average. Drivers in California are shelling out close to $5.90, and if you're in Arizona or Florida, prices have climbed more than 37% in a single year. Every state in the country has posted double-digit increases since last April, not a single one spared. Diesel sits at $5.43 a gallon on average, which represents a 50% jump from 12 months ago. These are not normal times, and the reason traces back to a 2-1-mile wide stretch of water on the other side of the planet. But explaining the problem is only half the job here. What I'm going to walk you through, strategy by strategy, are the exact steps that can realistically shave 30 to 50% off your fuel costs, all backed by data from the Department of Energy, AAA, Consumer Reports, and the EPA. No gimmicks and no magic fuel additives, just verified methods stacked on top of each other. Let's get into it. Why your gas bill exploded? Understanding why prices move this fast matters, because the answer tells us how long this could last. Back in January 2026, the national average sat at $2.81 a gallon, and by February it had barely budged to $2.91. Pretty normal. Then February 28th changed everything, when the US and Israel launched coordinated airstrikes on Iran in what was called Operation Epic Fury. Iran's supreme leader was killed, and within days the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. That strait is only 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, but before this conflict, roughly 25% of the world's seaborne oil trade and 20% of global liquefied natural gas flowed through it. The International Energy Agency labeled the closure the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. Not the largest since the 1970s, the largest ever. Everything cascaded from there. Brent crude oil crossed $100 a barrel on March 8th for the first time in 4 years, and by March 10th, Gulf oil production had dropped by 6.7 million barrels a day. 2 days after that, the shortfall reached at least 10 million barrels a day. The Dallas Federal Reserve estimated that closing the strait had removed close to 20% of global oil supply from the market in one stroke. On March 11th, U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright announced the release of 172 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which was part of a coordinated 400 million barrel release by 32 nations through the International Energy Agency, the U.S. government also temporarily lifted sanctions on Russian and Iranian oil that had been stranded at sea. None of it moved the needle enough. Gas hit $4 a gallon by March 31st, and Brent crude reached nearly $128 a barrel by April 2nd. The national average climbed to $4.08 that same week, before pushing up to $4.16 by mid-April. Pakistan brokered a ceasefire on April 8th, and on April 17th, Iran's foreign minister declared the strait open, which sent oil prices tumbling 11% within hours. But that optimism evaporated when Trump announced the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports would stay in place. Iran reversed course the following day, claiming the strait was back under its control, and IRGC gunboats fired on a tanker trying to pass through. Right now, the strait remains effectively closed. More than 230 loaded oil tankers are reportedly sitting inside the Gulf with nowhere to go, and traffic through the waterway has dropped by more than 90%. The EIA's latest forecast, published April 7th, projects retail gasoline will average $3.70 for the full year of 2026, but that projection assumes the conflict doesn't persist past April. Given what has happened since, that assumption looks shaky at best. Even if the strait reopens tomorrow, experts warn it could take months before commercial shipping returns to pre-war levels. So, the working assumption here is that gas stays expensive for a while, which brings us to the part of this equation you can actually control. Your right foot is the most expensive part of your car. The U.S. Department of Energy puts it bluntly. Personal driving habits are the single biggest factor affecting vehicle fuel consumption. Not the car you drive, not the brand of gas you pour into it. How you behave behind the wheel. Start with the one that sounds almost too simple, which is slowing down. Gas mileage drops rapidly above 50 miles per hour according to the DOE, and their data shows that each 5 miles per hour you drive over 50 costs you the equivalent of an additional 27 cents per gallon. AAA's numbers back this up. showing that reducing your highway speed by just 5 to 10 miles per hour can boost fuel economy by 7 to 14%. Driving at 70 instead of 55 lowers your fuel economy by 15% or more. Nobody cruises at 55 on the highway, and I'm not suggesting you try, but if you're consistently rolling at 75 or 80, pulling back to 65 makes a measurable difference. And at $4.16 a gallon, that 7 to 14% improvement translates to real money every single week. The second lever is smooth driving, meaning how you accelerate and how you brake. Both the DOE and Consumer Reports confirm that aggressive driving with hard accelerations at green lights and late braking can slash your highway mileage by up to 33% and your city mileage by up to 40%. Consumer Reports ran actual tests on this and found that frequent bursts of acceleration and braking cut a Toyota Camry's mileage by 2 to 3 miles per gallon. 40% is not a minor optimization. That's the gap between spending $2,000 a year on gas and spending $1,200. Cruise control on flat highways is the third fix because it holds a steady speed and eliminates the constant micro-accelerations that quietly eat fuel. Both AAA and the DOE recommend using it whenever terrain allows. The fourth one catches people off guard because it feels like nothing, and that's idling. FuelEconomy.gov reports that a running engine burns up to half a gallon of fuel per hour while sitting still. If you're going to be stopped for more than 60 seconds, shut the engine off. 10 minutes in a drive-thru with the engine running costs you real money at today's prices. 5-minute maintenance checks that pay for themselves. The fastest way to improve your fuel economy with zero mechanical skill is checking your tire pressure. The Department of Energy reports that underinflated tires increase rolling resistance, and fuel economy drops 0.2% for every single PSI that's low across all 4 tires. Inflating them to the proper level can recover up to 3% of your total fuel costs. That won't change your life on its own, but it's free, it takes 5 minutes, and it compounds with everything else in this video. One detail people get wrong constantly: the number printed on the tire's sidewall is the maximum pressure the tire can handle, not the recommended pressure for your car. The correct number lives on a sticker inside your driver's side door jamb or in your owner's manual. Motor oil matters too, because the DOE reports that running the wrong grade can drag your gas mileage down by 1 to 2%. Stick with whatever your manufacturer recommends. Air filters deserve attention because a clogged one restricts airflow and forces the engine to burn more gas just to compensate, which is why you should replace yours every 15,000 to 30,000 miles. And then there's the one most people ignore entirely, the check engine light. The DOE reports that fixing a serious maintenance problem like a faulty oxygen sensor can improve your mileage by as much as 40%. That is not a typo. One bad sensor can silently drain 40% of your fuel efficiency, which at current prices could mean hundreds of extra dollars bleeding out of your budget every year. The premium fuel trap. This section is going to save some of you money the next time you pull up to a pump. Premium gasoline averages about $4.90 a gallon nationally right now, roughly 80 cents more per gallon than regular. Fill a 1.5-gallon tank and you're spending $12 extra every single time. AAA's research found that unless premium fuel is recommended or required by your car's manufacturer, it delivers no added benefit whatsoever, no better performance, no improved fuel economy, nothing. Consumer Reports deputy auto editor Jonathan Linkov put it plainly when he told reporters that all modern cars, except the most exotic or high-performance vehicles, run fine on regular gasoline. The fix takes 30 seconds. Check your fuel filler door or your owner's manual. If the label reads required, you need premium. If it reads recommended, it's optional, and you can skip it without damaging anything. And if it says nothing at all, you've been handing over $12 extra per fill-up for absolutely zero benefit. Reduce weight and drag. This section covers the stuff riding around in your car that you've probably forgotten about. A large rooftop cargo box cuts fuel economy by 2 to 8% in city driving, 6 to 17% on the highway, and a staggering 10 to 25% at interstate speeds between 65 and 75 miles per hour, all according to the DOE. Even an empty rack bolted to your roof generates drag that your engine has to fight through every mile. Rear-mount cargo boxes perform much better, reducing economy by only 1 to 2% in the city and 1 to 5% on the highway. But the simplest fix costs nothing at all. If you have a roof rack or cargo carrier you're not actively using, take it off. That's free savings hiding in plain sight. The same logic applies to dead weight in your trunk. The DOE reports that an extra 100 pounds in your vehicle can knock your MPG down by up to 1%. So if you've been hauling around tools, sports equipment, or boxes of stuff you keep meaning to bring inside, consider this your reminder. One more detail that most people get completely backwards, and it's about windows versus air conditioning. At highway speeds above 50 miles per hour, keep your windows closed because the aerodynamic drag they create actually burns more fuel than running the AC. In stop-and-go city driving, the opposite holds true, and opening the windows while turning off the air conditioning will save you fuel. The 4-layer app stack. Now we're moving into the strategies that don't require changing how you drive at all, because this section is about paying less for the exact same gas you're already buying. Financial analysts have started calling this the 4-layer savings stack, and the key insight is that these layers don't compete with each other. You can use every single one on the same fill-up, on the same transaction, without any of them canceling the others out. Layer 1 is price discovery, which means checking what gas actually costs at stations near you before you pull in anywhere. GasBuddy, Waze, and Google Maps all display real-time fuel prices, and while that sounds basic, the price difference between two stations a mile apart can easily run 20 cents a gallon or more. A 2025 GasBuddy study also found that Monday is consistently the cheapest day of the week to fill up, while Thursday is consistently the most expensive, with a typical spread of 3 to 7 cents a gallon nationally. Layer 2 is cashback rebates through apps like Upside, which offers up to 25 to 35 cents back per gallon, and Checkout 51, which goes up to 35 cents per gallon. You claim the offer on your phone before you pump, fill up with whatever card you normally use, then submit your receipt or check in through the app. One analysis found that regular Upside users save an average of $254 a year. Layer 3 is pay at pump discounts. The GasBuddy Pay card links to your checking account and shaves up to 30 cents per gallon off automatically at participating stations. Station loyalty programs like Shell Fuel Rewards, Exxon Mobil Rewards Plus, and BP Earnify stack their own per gallon discounts on top of that. Layer 4 is credit card rewards, with many cards offering 2 to 5% cashback specifically on gas purchases. Paying with a card that earns nothing on fuel means leaving money behind every single time you fill up. And here's where the stacking turns from a nice idea into a meaningful number. A driver filling 15 gallons with only a 2% cashback credit card saves about 93 cents. But a driver stacking all 4 layers on the same transaction, choosing the cheapest nearby station, claiming the Upside cashback, paying with the GasBuddy card, and earning 3% from a Gas Rewards credit card, saves over $3.40 on that same fill-up. Over a full year, drivers who stack multiple apps save 2 to 3 times more than single-app users on the exact same gallons, with strategic users reporting $300 to $500 or more in annual savings. GasBuddy and Upside work together on the same purchase, which is confirmed across multiple sources. Some stations also still charge less for cash or debit payments, typically 5 to 10 cents per gallon below what credit card customers pay, and depending on your situation that discount might be worth grabbing too. Combine your trips. This strategy is wildly underrated. The Department of Energy reports that several short trips taken from a cold engine start can burn twice as much fuel as one combined trip covering the same distance with a warm engine. Picture your typical errand run. Grocery store, home, pharmacy, home, pick up dinner, home. That's 3 cold starts, 3 times your engine burns through its least efficient warm-up phase. Planning one loop that hits all 3 stops in sequence could cut the fuel for those errands roughly in half. No app needed, no money spent. The only requirement is treating your driving like something worth planning, the same way you'd plan what you spend. The EV question. This topic surfaces every time gas prices spike, and there's useful data worth examining whether you're considering a switch or not. Janelle London, co-executive director of a nonprofit called Cultura, told NPR that an average driver covering 15,000 miles a year saves approximately $1,800 annually by switching to an electric car. High-mileage drivers logging 25,000 miles a year save around $3,000. NPR also shared a quick comparison shortcut. Multiply your home electricity rate per kilowatt hour by 10, and you get a rough equivalent to what you'd pay per gallon of gasoline. The national average home electricity rate sits at about 17 cents per kilowatt hour, which translates to something like $1.70 a gallon. Compare that number to $4.16, and the gap speaks for itself. Public charging runs higher at 41 cents per kilowatt hour on average nationally, but home charging is where the real savings pile up. The DOE's Vehicle Cost Calculator estimates that a 2024 Tesla Model Y Performance costs approximately $469 a year to charge in Texas. The market has noticed the shift too. On Car Guru's, listing views for electric vehicles jumped 31% between the start and end of March 2026, and both Edmunds and CarMax reported similar surges in EV searches. Switching to an EV is not something you do this week, since it's a longer-term decision carrying its own trade-offs. Insurance can run higher, public charging infrastructure varies widely depending on where you live, and the upfront cost remains steep. But if you're driving a lot of miles and gas stays above $4, the math keeps tilting harder in the EV's favor. Myth busting. 2 myths worth putting to rest before we wrap up. The first is the old advice to fill up in the morning when gas is cooler, because supposedly cooler fuel is denser and you'll get more per gallon. Consumer Reports actually tested this and found that a 15-degree temperature difference produced only about a 1% gain in volume, which amounts to a few cents at most. The Energy Marketers of America, the trade group representing filling stations, has confirmed that gas pumps dispense a full gallon regardless of the temperature. Changing your schedule for that payoff is not worth the effort. The second myth is that premium gas makes your car run better, which we covered earlier but bears repeating because it is one of the most expensive misconceptions among drivers. Unless your manufacturer specifically requires it, those extra 80 cents a gallon buy you nothing. So, can you actually cut your bill in half? Honesty matters here because I don't want to oversell this. If you are currently doing everything wrong, aggressive driving, high speeds, underinflated tires, buying premium when you don't need it, never comparing gas prices, skipping every cashback tool available, and ignoring a glowing check engine light, then yes, stacking all of these strategies can realistically cut your fuel spending by 30 to 50%. That range comes from cumulative data published by the Department of Energy, AAA, Consumer Reports, and multiple financial analysis outlets. For drivers who already maintain their cars and drive moderately, a 15 to 25% reduction is the more honest number. At $4.16 a gallon, that's still a meaningful chunk of money coming back to you. Let me attach a dollar figure to this. A driver covering 12,000 miles a year and averaging 25 miles per gallon at $4.11 spends roughly $1,973 annually on gas. A 30% reduction saves nearly $600, and a 50% reduction saves close to $1,000. Most of these strategies cost absolutely nothing to put into action. Nobody knows exactly how long prices will stay at these levels. The EIA's forecast assumes the Strait crisis resolves soon, but the ceasefire expires tomorrow and the situation remains volatile. GasBuddy's pre-war forecast for 2026 called for $2.97 a gallon, a number that now looks like it came from a completely different timeline. What you can control is how efficiently you use every gallon you buy. Your speed, your driving habits, your tire pressure, and your fuel grade are all in your hands. Which station you pull into, whether you're stacking every available discount, and whether you combine your errands or split them into 4 separate trips, are all decisions you make every week. None of these strategies are complicated, and all of them are available to you right now. Stacked together, they compound in a way that makes a real, measurable dent in what you spend every month. That's how you cut your fuel bill, not with one magic trick, but by layering every advantage you've got during the most expensive fuel stretch in 4 years. Thanks for watching. If this was useful, share it with someone who's feeling the squeeze at the pump right now. I'll see you in the next one.